or how do we raise the bail money and that kind of thing. Like, you can't just go out there emotionally uh, without any strategy in place.
And then the other thing is, and like I said, much love to anybody that's doing
Yeah,
anything.
most definitely.
Counter the status quo, counter white supremacy, counter police brutality. So it's not a diss at all. It's just that we gotta sharpen each other so that we can win. This is about winning. Not about uh, anything else really. And so my strong suggestion is that we make sure that we mean those words and we actually can back those words up, because right now, I mean, it's good to hear we're ready for war, but nah, it's not there yet. Wars are organized, especially when you are a minority. I'm not saying that we are a minority, because really the masses of people that are that exist under a totalitarian government are far outnumbered. But what I'm saying is that the people that are actually there at that time have to be organized. You have to be. You have to be. It's not really an option. And I mean, it's definitely a challenge, I can tell you. To you may have people in your own city that ideologically you don't agree with, and so definitely you can't make light of the challenges that are present when we're triggered, and we have to first recognize that we're being triggered. We're being triggered, and like our button's being pressed, and they know what our button is. And I'm not saying that we should not react, but I'm saying we can't just react, and that's that.
Yeah. The thing is, we've been triggered and attacked for a long time now, and it's mental. To me, this war, we're here. They're saying we're ready for war. The war is already going on, and most people see the physical war, think physical war, but the war is really mental, and the true solution is easier said than done, but it's to stick together and unify, and to kind of buck the system, so to speak, and not care what other nationalities or cultures, whatever you want to call them, ethnic groups, feel about it or say about it, and just do it because it's what we have to do. It's the only solution is to unify. And if you struggle doing it yourself, teach the children. Of course, they're gonna watch you. But having the children understand early what's going on in this world will help, because I know we want children to have, I guess, quote unquote, happy childhoods, or kind of have more kid themed, cartoonish or imagination intact. At the same time, we have to be honest and realize that the children come here kind of pure, and they're going to say and express the solution. Basically, you give them an issue and they have an open heart, they're going to give you at least some things to consider that maybe you haven't considered due to living in this crazy white supremacy focus reality we currently live in, and that they have a lot of insight, and we have to use the children to unite us as a people, because that's what our future is our children. And it's interesting to see how the kids are seeing this. Kids going to school, sixth grade, fourth grade, eighth grade, whatever, and this is what they're seeing and hearing about in the media today. So they're going to see it whether you talk to them about it or not. So it's best to sit down and express where we are in this day and age.
Yeah, and that's another thing too that's unique about our experience in this enemy territory, so to speak, is that we are the only people who have to look at ourselves through the eyes of the oppressor, and that's a very unique experience. And especially talking to a child, because if a child sees that stuff on TV, then they ask, why did this person die, or why did that person die? Then you got to explain to them, the color of their skin. It's like, it's not, a lot of that stuff is not anything more than that. It's not anything more than that. It's the color of their skin. And so how do you explain that to a child? Like,
and I think that's what prevents a lot of people from having that conversation, because they don't know, I guess, what the answer is, or have a context to shape it and look at it from. And I've been studying Dr. Frances Cress Wilson recently, and a lot of her theories to me really give a foundation as to help anybody understand what can create a group of people to do historically what we have seen the Caucasian race do on this planet. And me not being a racist person at all, I mean prejudice against you just because what you look like, it doesn't stop me from being honest and seeing what this group of people have done across the world. And what Dr. Frances Cress Wilson very loosely theorizes, I'm paraphrasing here, is that the Caucasian person, when they go around the world, there's nobody like them, and it puts them in a state of alienation. And then when they breed with anybody, their genes become recessive to this other gene. So they kind of, by having sex, they kind of exterminate themselves. And it's a very anxious state of being. And so everywhere they go, they do the same thing. And they did the same thing in South Africa, India, Africa, here. Everywhere they go, they do the same thing. And it makes me think about how it kind of brings me to a point where we understand that when you look into their nations like Germany, Switzerland, whatever, you don't see this conflict because it's not there. And so it's really that can help, that this perspective of understanding how they see the world is something you can tell your children, because on one hand, I find that our people sometimes take exactly what they're given and give it back and become very racist and hatred, and they don't want to talk to any white person, and they get really angry. And I can understand that pain. I don't practice that, but I can understand one who could develop that. But I believe that's just equally, we're going to end it'll never stop if that's how we approach it. And like you were saying, that's what happens when you come emotionally and just respond without a plan. But to really understand something, it has to be part of the plan. And if you don't understand it, then you're going to always be frustrated.
I wanted to, one of the things that we have of our bullet points was what makes up a state of emergency. And we kind of touched on that. And then we had, we talked about what is a state of emergency. And Info Keith gave you the phrase of the week, state of emergency. How does this play out in cities, and what does the buildup look like? And I wanted to have some space for us to actually talk about what the buildup, like before there's a million people in the streets, or before there's this what we're seeing right now. What's the buildup to that? And let's talk about that. So, cities that are kind of new, I don't want to say new to it, but that are not at the point where a Ferguson or a Baltimore or even a Detroit is, can start looking at the signs of martial law or civil unrest or state of emergency. Because it's also not just police, civil unrest that causes a state of emergency. It can be a natural disaster and many other things. But let's talk about what the buildup actually looks like.
I think some of you were saying earlier, like, look at the executive laws. Look at what laws are coming down the pipeline.
Executive orders, yeah.
Start paying attention to what bills they're writing and what they're doing with your resources.
Mm-hmm. I mean, another thing we had already touched on was just the statistics. When there's that many people, criminalized for victimless crimes, because that's what it is. I mean, if you're riding around without insurance or registration because you can't afford it, and then you get pulled over, you get put in jail, or, it's a warrant out for your arrest, and there is no victim. It's a victimless crime. You're just going from home to work or from work to school or wherever you're going. But yet, you're a criminal now. So it's like, you got to look at the mindset or the feeling that creates amongst the people when you criminalizing so many people, 76.2% of the population, and is no victim to the crime, so to speak. The only crime is not being able to afford. So basically you criminalizing people for being poor when you put them in a situation to be poor in the first place, because who set up that system to discriminate against certain people. It's like just by having a black sounding name, you're 50% less likely to get called for an interview if you put in an application for a job. So it's like, I mean, who set that system up? And then you want to, criminalize these people or, victimize, demonize these people for not having a job, but yeah, you set up the system to where they can't work. Or, if somebody steals a candy bar from the store, you throw them in jail. So it's like, now you want to pay $30,000 a year to feed, house, and give this person water and clothes and all of that in jail for a year, or just giving them $1,000 to, buy groceries. It's like, it's ridiculous.
One thing that's really become apparent to me recently, and maybe it's why I haven't really followed so much of the media lately, is that I'm very
smart.
I'm very clear that it got to get much worse for it to get better, because I'm seeing all this stuff and I'm seeing everybody outraged. But whatever it is that's going to tip it and knock it all over ain't happened yet. And I know it's going to happen. I'm just hoping it would be great if we could be proactive and don't wait for that to happen. But again, just watching how things have played out and understanding history to a certain extent, it's usually some event that sparks everything. So, but what I am seeing is what's going on right now in the media isn't enough. And so I don't know what enough will be, but I know that until that day, I have to focus on building and growing something myself, because if I get caught up with the constant negative energy that some of these stories can pull you into, that's part of the trap, in my opinion, too. Again, I go back again, it's a mental thing, and I always consider, why would the media start showing this now? And here's a stat. In the first 24 days of 2015, police in the U.S. fatally shot more people than police in England and Wales combined over the past 24 years. So in 24 days of this year, more people got killed here than in 24 years in another nation. And I just think about two nations. Why would they not only why would they have the police start doing it, but why would they then go put it on television? Because this is something that they're after. And so we have to be mindful of that. And I found myself getting caught up in that, and I had to just back up a second, because it's going to happen again. And if I miss one story, it's not like the end of the world, because another one's going to come. Unfortunately, I've come to understand that. And, maybe I'm part of the problem. Maybe me thinking that is part of the issue as well. So these are the type of things I consider, I sit to myself sometimes.
I mean, it's a revolving door. Like this thing wasn't built overnight. Correct. This thing is built over centuries and centuries of tyranny, and learning from other tyrannical leaders and learning from other tyrannical governments. What did they do? I mean, and with the advancements of technology, moving things. I don't want to say incrementally forward, because any advancements in technologies take these things astronomically to another level. Being able to surveil everyone at the same time, being able to, so I'm just going to get into one of the things that we said we're going to talk about, which was the executive orders. And a great reference, again, and we'll say this again, and as many times as we have to, is the King Alfred Plan. And you can look it up, Google it. I mean, there's a short version of it, 6 pages, PDF. You can just go the King Alfred Plan. This means enough people have looked up the King Alfred Plan for it to pop up at the very top. We don't have to do anything to research anymore, really. All we got to do is type something in, and it'll pop up, the PDF. And this includes the agencies. We're talking about what the buildup looks like. And this is a buildup over a century, at least half a century. And so it lists all of the agencies that are involved, participating federal agencies in this plan. If you're not familiar with the King Alfred Plan is, again, look it up. The gist of it is that there is a plan put in place to round up and eliminate the black population. And this was during a time, it was crafted in the time of the Black Panthers, when they were the government was fearful of a black messiah, another black messiah that killed the other ones. And so this was to figure out how fast can we round up and eliminate the black people. And it's now been updated through the REX 84 plan, REX 84, REX 84, Readiness Exercise 84, to include Latinos and other quote-unquote minorities. So I'll just list some of the executive orders in here, and we'll kind of expand on it when we come from break. Executive Order 10995, all communications media seized by the federal government. Executive Order 10997, seizure of electrical power, fuel, including gasoline and minerals. Executive Order 10998, seizure of all food resources, farms, and farming equipment. Executive Order 10999, seizure of all kinds of transportation, including your personal car and or control of highways and all seaports. And so these are the things that build up to being able to just say, this place, we already have everything in place. So at some point it becomes, where can we test this out best? Where can we test this out best? Look at the funding of police departments, and they're getting more and more militarized. Look at the policies that your local government are passing. You know, people say that I'm not into politics. I think that's, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of a blanket statement, and we need to stop saying that, because we need to, again, the definition. What is the definition of politics? Most people don't even know. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick break and go and go to our commercial, and we'll be back with ReadYO Radio, State of Emergency. Thank y'all for bearing with us. The best way to check us out is via the Urban Nation Radio app, ReadYO Radio. Peace.
Should I just play anything? 'Cause I'll check the other one now.
Mic's on?
Oh no, I took it from you.
Trying to build the foundation like they did the pyramids. We were once kings, black emperors. Yeah, it's Brick, TF4K Part 2. Yeah, this sound like some music that a king can hit the scene with. I need a theme then, do this for the slaves on the ship who got seasick. No good for the master anymore, they just throw them overboard, cause niggas' lives don't mean shit. That's what we selling to the youth, assassinating truly, trying to kill the dreams of the dreamers that's dreaming. Lost cause is what we all are so appalling. Them lies in them books that them people try to teach them. Preachers lying to the congregation, praising white Jesus. When even in the good book we got the same features. Long woolly dreads, color of bronze for my feet is them demons. All hell the king shit. Give praises for my phrases, so elated, got them speechless. I'm spaced out, I got the world at my feet. I don't mean to sound facetious, this is just my thesis. Trying to build the foundation like they did the pyramids. We were once kings of the land, black emperors. All hell praise to the most high lyricists. Mixing in the truth of a trap on my killer shit. Trying to build the foundation like they did the pyramids. We were once kings of the land, black emperors. All hell praise to the most high lyricists. Mixing in the truth of a trap on my killer shit. Come on.
Dale Green, I don't mean to intercept. I ain't always right, I'm just never incorrect. GDL to the glory, hallelujah. Melanated cerebellum, ferocious phenomenon. I do it for the ones depicted in I'm a style. The Shaka Zulu motion, military black guy. Blood in the soil, my neighborhood boil. Kings killing kings, firearms on coil. Wake up out your coma, recognize your Ayatollah. I'm an owner, smart, mediocre, ogre, I'm so royal. Attack me genocidal, I'ma fight for my survival. GDL soul live even after my skin is spoiled. No greed, lust, anger. For my neighbor, I hold it down like an anchor. Hold it down, and we back for our greatness. We're one for the ages. We trying to interpret the constellation.
Trying to build the foundation like they did the pyramids. We were once kings of the land, black emperors. All hail praise to the most high lyricists. Mixing in the truth of a trap on my chemist shit. Trying to build the foundation like they did the pyramids. We were once kings of the land, black emperors. All hail praise to the most high lyricists. Mixing in the truth of a trap on my chemist shit. Come on.
I'm Jack Johnson as King Kong. Planet of the 86. By the race war, Mighty Joe Young and 49 as the point four. If you look around, this is magic. I must bring the point forward. Whatever you hate, you slowly creating a love for. Let's keep it all